Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we are looking at screenshots. These are pictures from my Barbie Legacy Challenge, which is a challenge made by me. This is the completion of the first generation, and that's so crazy. I can't believe I actually wrote a Sims 3 challenge. Boggles my mind, but I did, and we're done with the first generation. So we're looking at screenshots. Now, some of these pictures, the next, I don't know, 5 pictures or so, that's not correct. More than that. Next 10 to 15 pictures are actually from our first try at the challenge. So again, I wrote the challenge, which means I also am kind of playtesting it as we go, and I didn't realize that your sim did not get an imaginary friend, which is a part of the rules, like something that we need for the generation. Your sim doesn't get an imaginary friend sent to them in the mail, so I found a mod where we could buy one, but then it wasn't turning into a quote-unquote real sim. It wasn't getting up and walking around and stuff. So even though I was I think 3 or 4 parts in, or maybe not even that much, might have been more like 2 parts in, I went ahead and was like, I'm going to restart. We're going to try again. And so I had made the entire family. So Clara here, this is our sim Clara, our founder, so that she had a full family tree. We actually played quite a bit before I was starting to freak out that the imaginary friend wasn't working from the mod. So I replaced the family because I made Clara's parents, and then I also made Clara's grandfather, because in the movie Barbie and the Nutcracker, which is what this first generation is based on, Clara lives with her grandfather Drosselmeyer. And so I'm like, well, he needs to be a part of this, and it's part of the rules to also live with an elder guardian who is not your parent. So I made her mom's dad. And then I also wanted Aunt Elizabeth to be in the story, even though I didn't actually end up doing a whole lot with Aunt Elizabeth. But I made grandfather Drosselmeyer, I gave him a brother, and then he had a daughter, and that's how Aunt Elizabeth was brought into the story. But I basically started with just Clara's parents. Here they are. This is George and Margaret Roberts, which is actually Barbie's parents, real names. And I played through Clara's conception all the way up to her parents' death, and then we moved her and her younger brother in with grandfather, and we officially restarted the challenge. But I got the imaginary friend sent to us in the mail, which was what I was trying to achieve. So we do have some of the cute screenshots of all of that happening. Here's Margaret finding out that she's pregnant with Tommy, which is Clara's little brother. There's little Clara herself. They were such a cute family. I was really sad when I had to unalive the parents, because this gave me the chance to get semi-attached to them. So yeah, it was really cute though. However, Clara has no relationship with her brother at all. At all. There, as she got older, Clara actually, Tommy, sorry, her brother, ended up having more of a relationship with Clara's imaginary friend turned real sim eventually. So this is him, by the way. This is Nutcracker, and he was actually functional, actually working this time. He became a real boy. And yeah, had a whole bunch of stuff happen. We got robbed, a bunch of fun stuff. But according to the legacy rules, which I'm actually pulling up now, again, should probably have these memorized with it being my own challenge, but I don't. So we follow Clara is our sim. And she's recommended to have the traits good, brave, artistic, and childish, which she does have. And then I forget what her fifth trait was. Family oriented, maybe? So our backstory is that Clara always believed in the power of imagination, even when the world and grandfather Drosselmeyer told her to grow up. Raised in a quiet household with strict rules and little room for creativity, Clara found freedom in stories, music, and painting, which I flopped on. She did not do much painting. One fateful winter night, her dreams and reality seemed to blur, and through courage and kindness, she found the strength to stand up for herself and protect those she loved. Now she must decide what kind of world she wants to build for her future family. So, the rules. In this challenge, we have rules, which are required, and we have goals, which are optional. So for the rules, we have to begin as a child with only one guardian sim, who is like symbolic of grandfather Drosselmeyer. We are not allowed to move out until we reach level 8 of the logic skill. Our relationship is strong with the Nutcracker or your imaginary friend, and a Metamorphium potion is made. Now, if you don't have generations, or if you choose not to like start with parents and then have them have a sim so that the imaginary friend is sent to them, like if you choose to go that route, you totally can. Basically, the imaginary friend would just be like a child outside of the household that kind of acts as, the imaginary friend. That would be like the close friends, Clara's really only friend that she eventually gets like really close with. You still need to hit level 8 of the logic skill. You still need to like work with the potion table. But I don't know that you can make the Metamorphium potion if you don't have generations. So if like that's why you're not doing the imaginary friend, then I would say just get up to level 8 of logic. But if you do have generations and you just pick not to play with imaginary friend, which I totally understand why, they're terrifying. I'm not a fan of the imaginary friend. Still make the Metamorphium potion, and then you're good. Number 3, as a teen, the heir must sneak out at least once to symbolize her escape into the fantasy world. I almost forgot about this, so she went and spent the night at the fire station for one night. Kind of flopped on that one too. We cannot marry the Nutcracker until we are at the top of our career. Once we are married, we're supposed to move into or build a Victorian style quote unquote palace or a home, which we did. I am actually really proud of the house that I built for them. It's called Golden Waltz. It's on my channel if you would like to watch the speed build. It is broken up into 2 pieces because it is a really big house, but I did build one. You can find it on the channel. One room of the home must be dedicated to painting, music, and or toys to symbolize the heir's imagination. We need to have 2 children, symbolizing a balance of imagination and legacy. Her world continues, but she focuses on raising her kids in a loving, magical home. And our generation ends when our heir is a toddler and is stolen. Now for the goals. Again, these are optional. Learn ballet. So if you have the store content, the Stiff as a Board, Light as a Feather dance collection, which is actually what Clara was just using right there, that ballet bar. You can work on your dance skill that way, or you can take after school ballet club as a child. You need to form a strong bond with your imaginary friend, max the painting skill, turn the imaginary friend into a human sim, and remain best friends. So like you don't have to romance and marry and have kids with the imaginary friend. That's just what I did. You don't have to. You just have to basically be best friends with them. And then restore peace, so turn a negative relationship with like an enemy or a disliked sim into a good one. So those are goals. I'm not super concerned if I don't get through all of those. I was more concerned about getting through all of my rules. And yeah, so that kind of brings us to where we are now. This is our dog Marzipan. Isn't she cute? She's a little cavalier and she's dying. This dog died twice in this save, or in this generation. Because so for a while there, the game would just abruptly freeze and basically crash. And so she had died, and then we went and got married, and then the game crashed like the day after their wedding. And I hadn't saved because I'd been recording, and I lost the dog dying and the wedding and the honeymoon So I had to replay all of that off screen. But because of that, Marzipan was still alive. And she went on to live for another like 2 weeks. And then she died again. But yeah. So our next generation that we are getting ready to go into is based on the Rapunzel adaptation that Barbie did. So literally called Barbie. I think it's just Barbie or Barbie as Rapunzel. So our sim, she is in fact named Rapunzel. She's recommended to have the traits artistic, bookworm, good, and nurturing or family oriented. It is your choice. Our backstory is that Rapunzel, who is Claire's daughter, was raised in a home filled with imagination and love, but when she was still a toddler, a bitter family friend or estranged relative, up to you, took custody of her during a messy conflict, cutting her off from her family. Raised in isolation, she was told her past was gone and her dreams were foolish, but deep inside, Rapunzel never stopped painting, never stopped dreaming, and when the time comes, she'll use her creativity not just to escape, but to build a better world for herself and those she loves. Our rules is that the generation must start when our heir is a toddler. She must be raised by a guardian who is not her parent, so it could be a family friend or an elder with traits like mean-spirited, snob, evil. As a child/teen, we must stay home on the home lot except for school, or you can install a homeschool mod, which means you will need the careers school like NROS add-on. We cannot date until we are a young adult. We must move out immediately upon aging up into a young adult. Our house must always have a studio. Bonus points if there is a tower-shaped room. We must, if we marry, our partner must move in with us. So we can't move in with them. They have to move in with us. And we're only going to have one child, a girl. Generation goals, so again, the optional ones. We cannot attend after school activities. We can only have one friend. As a young adult, we have to escape the tower. Number 4 is fall in love with someone connected to the outside world, so an adventurer, a musician, a noble type sim. We have to help, quote unquote, heal the kingdom through creativity. So become a self-employed painter, an architectural designer, or a stylist, and then we need to max the career. We must rebuild our connections/reconcile with at least one family member or befriend the former guardian that like raised us and kidnapped us from our family. And we can only decorate the heir's home with her artwork. So that is what is coming up in the next generation. So what I ended up doing is I made an adult sim. Her name is Gothel. And she works with Eric, and she basically developed a huge crush on Eric and became very jealous and envious that Eric was, deeply in love with his wife, had this beautiful home, had 2 wonderful, beautiful children, and then she's like, I want that. Like, basically, Clara's life should be my life. Like, he should be my husband. That should be my house. Those should be my kids. And so for Rapunzel's birthday, we threw a huge party, and Gothel came over and got to meet the darling little girl who looks actually just like her grandfather. And Gothel kind of formed a plan and came back and has now taken Rapunzel. So when we start our next generation, we will not be home. We will be with Gothel. And I don't know, I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of not. Because I spend so much time on this house, and I don't like the fact that we've now left the house and I'm not living there anymore. I'm even considering not building a new house for the next generation and instead just continuing to live in this one. Because it's not like Rapunzel ever really got to live here. So I would like to possibly consider having her inherit the house and come back to live here. This is her brother. This is Tim, named after Tim Curry, who voiced the Mouse King in Barbie and the Nutcracker, he was not happy to find out that his mom was having another child. That was his reaction just there when he was like crying and upset. It was because Clara had just told him that she was pregnant. But like then he did all these cute like hugging the belly, kiss the belly, talk to the belly, all that. So I don't even know, but I was trying to get as many pictures as I could of Rapunzel. Oh my gosh, the end's coming. It always sneaks up on me like this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, there's Gothel. I can't wait to start the next generation with you. Thank you to everyone who's followed along. If you want to check out the challenge, the rules are down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.